Anonymous does not have an official website. For something to be official, it must have a hierarchy. Anonymous does not operate in hierarchies. We are all different, unequal and without hierarchy. Anonymous leads by example and follows by consensus. Anonymous is strictly not for profit or any kind of intentional personal gain. Anonymous is against the patent system, copyright and censorship. Anonymous was to disperse after Turtle Island and have no central base of operations. Anonymous was to branch out independently. Each branch would forge their own networks, infiltrating the hierarchies and bringing the idea to new recruits. Our main method of communicating with each other was chat rooms, primarily IRC. Our choice of medium for communicating with the world was YouTube. 4chan was secondarily used by some as a way to echo our plans that were already organized through chat rooms. To introduce Anonymous to the lost and show them a better way, 4chan was not the back end, but the front end. An open door of introduction to learn about us and how we did things. Many of the first Anons were so inspired by what they saw and learned, that they desperately wanted to share it with the world. New recruits mistakenly believe to this day that 4chan was how they communicated with each other. No, 4chan was used by 4chan recruits. A long time ago, this Anon HQ type of problem was dealt with. There were those who picked up on the idea, but knew very little of the principles. After the founders engaged them and explained everything, they agreed that they were not real Anons as they thought they were, but fans and third parties. It was agreed that, in the spirit of free speech, they could say whatever they wanted to say about Anonymous, within reason, even so much as saying things that were false, with an expectation for being corrected and held accountable. The core issue was that they made it clear to their viewers that they were not anonymous and do not represent Anonymous. It was agreed that their freedom to do so was based on their responsibility to make it crystal clear without any deception or room for confusion, that they were a third party that covered all things anonymous. Such examples were news websites that focused on the topic of Anonymous, and the sale of merchandise with anonymous symbols on them. It was okay, so long as it was clear that they were an independent third party offering a service of convenience. Since Anonymous is against the patent system, it must allow others to use the symbol as they saw fit, and even make money off it by placing the symbol on their own merchandise. Today, you can buy clothing with almost any symbol on it, even those that are copyrighted but not enforced. Why then would those who claim to be so against the patent system seek exclusive rights to the symbol and how others use it? The key, again, is that they are a third party offering a service of convenience. This is a good thing, because while Anonymous cannot profit and hence they cannot widely and effectively supply clothing and other items related to Anonymous, third parties can compete to do what Anonymous cannot. Again, the key is that they are not anonymous. This doesn't stop Anonymous from buying merchandise or making it themselves at a much higher self-cost than buying it, and then offering it for free. The main problem is in those third parties who are not making it clear enough that they are not anonymous but a third party offering a service that covers the topic of Anonymous. A long time ago, one of the major news websites were using an inappropriately misleading name, while others were in the gray area, and agreed with the founders to at least change their name. But they didn't. Several third parties clearly reject themselves falsely as the voice and official representatives of Anonymous. Many who consider themselves an Anon have gotten most or all of their information about Anonymous from these websites, and they don't know any better. And then there is the problem of these alternative news websites promoting false information in the name of Anonymous, such as the Jacques Fresco cult and the appalling level of ignorance and gullibility surrounding it. This problem is a separate issue, but overlaps because they are promoting false information in the name of Anonymous. But the truth is, the vast majority who speak in the name of Anonymous have most of their information wrong on all sides. Most of them strongly and blindly believe things that are utterly and dangerously false. This is a problem whether it's done in the name of Anonymous or not. The solution is the same. For all sides to stop trying to control information and conform others to their beliefs, and instead engage in a prior debate to establish the truth for real, and take the appropriate course of action to uphold a reasonable minimum standard. The truth is, very few people have any depth of understanding on these topics. Most are act willingly ignorant and trigger-happy. Their actions are not based on knowledge, wisdom and understanding guided by reason, but instead out of fear, pride and psychological dysfunction. An example of this is when it comes to a home base of operations. Anonymous did once have a very elusive and networked home base of operations. It dispersed for a reason. Yes, Anon HQ is not a legitimate headquarters of Anonymous. But that doesn't mean there will not be one again as there once was in the past. Then comes along a new generation who call themselves Anonymous. And they chronically fear because they, as hypocrites, want to be the boss. They cling to an old command of dispersing, without understanding the principles, meaning and objective behind it.